Panther Nation, what is good? Welcome back to Two Fans in the Stands. I'm your favorite armchair GM, CJ.
And I'm your favorite couch scout extraordinaire, Tony.
Hey, let me tell you, according to the Athletic, boy, it's some stuff going on at the bank. All right,
What?
we gonna talk about it. Let's get it. Tony, cousin, how you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm good. Shoot, I got six in one hand, half a dozen in the other. Guess I call it even.
Well, I ain't heard that in a minute. Boy, Lord have mercy.
Yeah. How you feel? How you feeling, cuz?
Hey, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good, man. I'm happy to be here, happy to be alive, happy to be healthy. I'll be even happier if all of y'all could do me a favor that's watching this. Make sure you click that like button, subscribe, turn on those post notifications so you know when our videos come out, and help us get to our goal of 1,000 subscribers. And if you already subscribed, tell a friend to tell a friend. Me and Tony are greatly appreciated, okay?
No
Now,
doubt, no doubt.
cuz there was an article in the Athletic that came out that said there were a lot of staff in Bank of America Stadium that felt like it was almost what's the word I'm looking for? It was almost like the Hunger Games. Okay, that was the environment,
What?
or that's the environment that's going on around there. All right, it's like the Hunger Games. Now,
Wow.
mind you, I've watched the first Hunger Games, and that's about the only one that I've watched all the way through. So I can't speak
Me too.
on
I've
that
only watched the
relationship.
first one.
Yeah, I can't speak on that correlation to the Hunger Games in too much depth. But what I can take out of this is that David Tepper is probably being compared to President Snow. President Snow is the dictator. He has the 13 districts, and they do the Hunger Games every year. I can't even lie. I forgot what the purpose of the Hunger Games was in the movie. So, a little snippet that I got from this article, it said, Tepper, okay, he encouraged Frank Wright to go outside of his circle with some of the hires. As such, many of the offensive coaches had never worked together, brought different philosophies to an offense that would be led by a rookie quarterback week one. Besides the disagreements in scheme, there were personality conflicts and factions formed on the staff that included two main holdovers from Rule staff, and that would be offensive line coach James Campion and special teams coordinator Chris Tabor, and they were both held on at because of Tepper. Tepper urged them to keep those two. Okay,
Right,
so
right.
it seems like there's just this it's just dysfunctional. It's just one, big dysfunctional, unhappy family. Okay,
So
and
is there a lot of backstabbing going on around? Is that what you get a feeling about?
well,
A feeling of?
I also read in this that there was a staffer and Scott Fitterer. Okay, so they went behind everybody's back, and this is according to what I read. They went behind everybody's back and went to David Tepper with some coaching suggestions for Bryce Young. Okay,
Right.
and there was a report last week that because everybody thinks that Ben Johnson is going to be Carolina's target for head coach next year. So everybody's
Right.
assuming like now that Deuce Staley is gone, there are people that are texting Ben Johnson and saying, "Hey, stay the hell away from here. Don't come here. This situation is jacked up. This ain't what you want." Okay,
Do do
so
do, do you think that's really going on?
hey man, let me tell you. Let me tell you. At my previous job, okay, at my previous
Right.
job, it was a job that I did not like. I was very unhappy there. Okay, I finally got another job where I'm currently at now. I love it. I'm very happy. If I hear somebody mention that place, I will tell them to stay the hell away from there. So I would not be surprised if that's happening. That would not surprise me at all.
Right.
I do believe that it is possibly happening. Because, like I said, if I hear somebody mention that place that I worked at before, I'll tell them quick, that ain't what you want. That is not what you want. Find you something else, or look, give me your resume. Let me see if I can find you something here where I'm at now. But don't go over there.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. I feel you. I've been in that very same situation a time or
Mm-hmm.
two in my life. So yeah, I get it because you don't want, especially someone that you care about, that or good friends with or whatever. If you can give them some information to keep them from walking into a bad situation, you might put a little bug in the ear. So I
Mm-hmm.
get it.
Hey,
I get
it
it.
it ain't got to be nobody close. I could have known that person for the 30 seconds they sat there and talked to me and asked me a damn question. And I'd be like, nah, bro, that ain't what you want. I could know them from a can of paint. And I'd be like, nope, don't do it. Don't. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is the same situation. But my thing is, Tony, who in the hell would want to come here and coach this team? Okay. Now I know there are only 32 teams in the league. There are only 32 coaches out. Somebody's going to want it. Okay.
Right.
Somebody is going to
That
want it.
part.
Yeah, somebody's going to want it. They're going to find a head coach. But what I want is somebody that wants to come here, somebody that wants to inherit what we have now and are committed to changing the culture, changing what's going on. But, but you've got to remember we've got Tepper to deal with here. So if he doesn't change his ways, hire people and let them coach football, let them do their scouting, let the GM be the GM, and he just signs the checks and sits his ass down somewhere, it's going to be a problem. Because if I was somebody that Tepper came to and was like, hey, or whoever the new GM is, if we get a new GM, but whoever that is, and they came to me and they were like, "Hey, well, we want to talk to you about head coaching job." First thing that come out of my mouth is, "You're gonna have to give me at least 2 years and guarantee that I will not be fired in the first 2 years because I need some time to turn this shit show around."
I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a
Okay, go
minute.
ahead with it.
If you were David Tepper,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let's just take football out of the equation.
All
Say
right.
you're a business owner, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're a business owner, and you hire, say you run a construction company, and you
Mm-hmm.
hired a project manager for this particular project,
Yeah.
and the project manager, your project manager said during the interview that they can do X, Y, and Z,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to hold that project manager to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when the project manager starts working and
Mm-hmm.
things start unfolding, it looks completely opposite of what he told you in that interview, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Would you not step in and say something to that project manager? or
Yes.
or or,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
or if even if it got bad enough to where the project didn't seem like it was coming together like it
Mm-hmm.
should be, and there was no cohesiveness, there was just all this
Mm-hmm.
configuration, and everything looked like it was in shambles. Are you not going to say anything? And two, would you not fire him?
Well, okay. Yeah. Yes and no. Yeah. Yes and no. First off, if I go in and the situation is not what me being Tepper, right?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, you the owner.
I go in and he told me he was going to do X, Y, and Z, and X, Y, and Z is not done. First, I think as a supervisor, anybody's been out there in business, you got to find out why first. Okay,
Right.
you have to find out why. You have to sit down. You have to have that conversation as to why. Okay, number two, you have to come up with a plan to fix it. Okay, you got to come up with a plan to
Okay.
fix it. And as far as referring this to football, Tepper gave Frank Wright, not well, about half a season, little more than half a season.
Little
Okay,
more, yeah, a little more than
and
half season.
I, I've
11
I've
games.
I've got on here and I've said that Frank Wright got fired because he was stubborn, and he did not want to change his offense, or he didn't want to make adjustments that me personally, I thought he should have made to try and fit this scheme and this our personnel. I'm sorry, not the scheme, but try to fit the personnel that we have, around his scheme. Okay, but even still, though, you got to sit down and you got to have those talks first. This is me. I've been a supervisor before, and
Right.
this how I always did stuff. Now mind you, I'm unhappy, but I don't know. being Tepper, if they had those talks before. You get what I'm saying? Because it to me from the outside looking in, it looked like it boiled over after the Tennessee game. No, I'm sorry, yeah,
But
it,
it's
like it boiled over after the Tennessee game because they
yeah,
said they heard him go out the locker room. You know, he was screaming "fuck." You know, when he left out the locker
right.
room. So, like I said, I can say what I would do, but I don't know if he was having those conversations with Frank that led up to that point. I mean, if he
But
did, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say it was well, it was already known that he had a meeting every Monday with Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Either Monday or Tuesday at some point. They met every week. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So during those meetings, they would discuss the state of the franchise. The game prior that they just that they had just played that Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And from my understanding, from what they said in the article and what's also been reported by Joe Person and people like that, was that they came to Frank and asked Frank could they do a little different, do something different with his scheme, and
Mm-hmm.
he was reluctant to want to do it. So when you factor those type of things in, and they have given you the ample enough opportunity, if the report is true, they
Mm-hmm.
gave him ample enough opportunity to make changes or give him suggestions to
Mm-hmm.
changes, and he just like no, to just I'm just speculating it, but he
Mm-hmm.
pretty much just like flat out no. You know what I'm saying? He trusted his scheme, and eventually he felt like his scheme was gonna work, and his scheme was getting worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you do at that point?
Well, I guess you do what happened. He got the boot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
He got the boot.
yeah.
But then at the same time though, if all of this stuff is happening in the background, like it's being reported, and people are kind of circumventing Frank and going around and talking to Tepper behind his back, you know what I mean?
That's wrong. Yeah,
That's
that
wrong.
that's wrong.
That's wrong.
That's
And
wrong.
and that's why I said that about the next coach, because Tepper has been through, between the Panthers and Charlotte FC, he's been through what, 6, 7 head coaches already? Yeah. Or six. He, he
Six.
he's been through 6 head coaches. Okay. Like I said, I
Yeah,
still stick with what I was saying. If I was a coach coming in, I would want some time. I would definitely want some time. And if Tepper is so involved in, the process of picking players, and he has to be the last say, on whatever, yeah. If I can't come in and I'm the head coach and I have my GM and we are the ones who know football, you get what I'm saying? We know football. Say they play football like Frank did. You know, so Scott was he had experience up in Seattle before he came here. Okay, but you
right.
are owner. You are owner. You spent your life in hedge funds. Okay, now mind you, he was part owner of the Steelers. Okay, but when it
Right. He
comes
was a
to
minority owner there.
day-to-day football operations and game planning and scheming and scouting players and positions and who needs to do this and who's good at doing that, I say you leave that stuff to the coach and the GM and their staff. Okay, and if the article is true and Frank was told, hey, you need to bring in this person, you need to bring in that person, you need to bring in the other person, but they weren't people that he necessarily wanted to bring in. If I'm another coach coming in, I'm looking at that also too, like, hey, I want my staff. Like, don't go out here and tell me you need to bring this person in just because the owner likes him, or you need to bring this person in because the owner wife like him, or whoever. That's what I'm saying about that. If all this stuff is true,
Yeah.
this is one messed up situation that if it was me, I'd want to have some safeguards in place to take the job, money or whatever. So,
But don't you find it ironic though that this quote unquote article came out now? Like with all this that allegedly has been going on,
mm-hmm.
these reporters that are everyday reporters that cover the Panthers, that's in the the press conferences and things like that. They cover them on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody already knew this. Like, this is not something that just happened. This is not something that they just learned about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, me and you and I had this discussion, and I mentioned it earlier this week. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, ever since David Tepper gave Scott Fowler and those guys the cold shoulder at the press conference, they have been on an all-out crusade. Seems like to me to want to crucify him even more than what he was already being crucified. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
About, if
Yeah.
I say that right, yeah.
You good?
But yeah, because I saw Scott Fowler last week on a Dan Patrick show. I had never seen Scott Fowler on there.
Mm-hmm.
Never. I don't even think I remember what Scott Fowler looked like. Okay. So I just found it ironic that those guys felt slighted in the press conference. And then all of a sudden, these guys are speaking out in different media platforms and, writing articles and stuff. Now, I'm not saying that they haven't been writing articles,
Mm-hmm.
but what I'm saying is, like, things haven't been this widely viewed or explosive,
Mm-hmm.
up until this point. So I just felt like it was kind of ironic. I'm not saying that this is true or not true.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it kind of ironic that all this is starting to come out now. That's all.
But you know what though, and when we talked about this, I also said Tepper got up there and gave what might possibly go down in history as the worst press conference by an owner of a professional sports
I
team
agree.
in the history of
Agreed.
everything. Okay, he dodged questions, and then I forgot what the question was, but then he went on this little rant about how he has done so much for Charlotte and how many events and stuff that was here before, and then now the number of events that's here now. Okay, you brought Beyonce here, big whoop.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? And okay, let me not say big whoop because a lot of people love Beyonce. My wife, my mother-in-law, my niece, they all went to the concert together. Okay, it was probably good for Uptown's is the stuff that he's doing. Okay, yeah, it's good for the economy. He brought the soccer team, but this was a press conference about the Carolina Panthers football team. Okay, the
Right.
Carolina Panthers football team. He should not have even went there about all this other stuff. And to me, it just gave this impression like, y'all are lucky to have me here because I'm doing so much for this little pitiful ass city of yours. And
It did come
how
across like that.
yeah, how dare you get up here and try to, ask me these questions like I'm doing something wrong. Like, no, you've got to look at me and what I've done for all of you. You know what? I'm not. Hey, let me tell you, the reporters were
They
probably left there and they was like, you know what? Okay, cool. We got you. Like they said, the tea been piling up in that cup for weeks, and they went and knocked all that shit over.
they said that was his plant, the guy from the Charlotte Business Journal that was
Mm,
asking those questions, and he went off on about a 6-7 minute tangent. He, like, half of the press conference was addressing that one question that guy asked.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, at this point, man, let me tell you. I know we've had some bad seasons in Carolina. We've had some bad runs of just everything going on, not going our way. But this,
Right.
let me tell you, this little stretch we have in here is gonna go down in Panthers history, buddy. We're gonna be talking about this for a long time. I mean,
Yes, sir.
it's gotten so bad that they said it was like working in the Hunger Games. The Hunger Games. Mm, tell you, man. Hey, because you got anything else you want to
That
say before
that
we
that
get up out of
that's
here?
a that's a every man for himself type of thing right there.
I'm telling
I
you.
guess that's how they feel right now. But nah, cuz I ain't got nothing else right now, man. That's enough within itself. You
Hey,
know what
damn
I'm
show
saying?
is, man. Damn
That's
show
that's
is.
enough within itself. You got anything?
No, man. Just let everybody know. as before, if you haven't already and you're watching this video, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Turn those post notification bells on so you know when our videos come out. We are steadily approaching our goal of 1,000 subscribers, and we appreciate everybody's help. Sorry. All right. So, again, take you out like always. Number 1, y'all be safe. Number 2, y'all be good. And number 3, everybody, keep pounding.